welcome to All About Community. My name is Robert L. Harris, and I am your host. My guest today is Guy Bryant, who is a local attorney right here in the city of Oakland, and he does educational law. Guy Bryant, welcome to All About Community.
Well, thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
I must disclose this. Guy is my neighbor. So that means I'm going to be hard on him. But, Guy, let's talk for a few minutes about your background. Where were you born and raised? Were you born and raised anywhere near this area? Or are you from way out of the state like I am?
Well, actually, I was born in Seattle. My dad was in the Air Force, but I grew up in New England outside of Boston, and went to University of Connecticut, then Boston School of Law, and then wound up here in California in 1988 when I realized I could actually be outside on a sunny day during Christmas and hanging out at the beach or other things. So I was like, California, I think I'm going to stay.
So you Boston School of Law. How was Boston School of Law? Great reputation, as a matter of fact. Know a lot of people who went there.
I was very fortunate. I was there in the 80s, and so there was a time when we were the school across the river from Harvard.
I know.
And so we were fortunate I had Archibald Cox as my constitutional law professor.
The
which was
famous Archibald Cox.
Yeah, he was unbelievable, big, tall, redheaded guy. Gave us some amazing insights into constitutional law, which I've carried forward the rest of my career. And then had Alan Dershowitz for a criminal law lab.
You had who?
Alan Dershowitz. Yeah.
Let's not talk about him. I remember when he used to be great.
Yeah. No,
and then something happened.
Yeah, politics.
It was Trump got him. But that's another story.
But as far as the mind was pretty impressive, and other Harvard and BU professors that were fantastic at the time, and it's still a great institution. But and it prepared me to come to California because California.
Now, what did you do when you first came to California?
I started off thinking I was going to be in corporate and do those kinds of practice, but I realized when I was into banking law and insurance law, I was basically protecting the wealth, of institutions. Poor little old lady, didn't read the fine print. We're going to deny coverage. I just did not sit well with me as an individual.
You couldn't take it. Huh? you wanted to be on the side of the people.
Yeah, I mean,
a people's lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, it was great going. I had a lot of trials and stuff as an insurance defense counsel, or working with Kaiser and other organizations, and it was great for that training. But yeah, I wanted to be on the side of actually representing the people, and that's where education law came into.
And how did you get involved in educational law?
Well, one of my colleagues said, Guy, I think I found nirvana in the law. And I'm like, is that possible? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm working with really committed people, highly educated, they're focused, and it's all about students. And I was like, wow, that sounds, I had family and relatives, in particular on my wife's side, who were higher ed educators.
And your wife is also a lawyer.
Yes, she is. She's a partner in our firm, and she's very skilled in education law issues as well. And so it just fit right for me. It's like, wow, this is wonderful. And so I started working in a San Francisco firm, doing education law, representing school districts, the school boards, the superintendents, and then higher ed as well, UC system, community college districts. And I've never looked back in my 26 plus year career in that area.
And you and your wife both practice for the same law firm, is that correct?
Yeah.
And what's the name of that firm?
The current firm is Atkinson, Andelson, Lawyer, Root and Romo. We met in law school, believe it or not. And
is that right?
Yeah, my last name was Bryant and hers was Brown. And so she was stuck having to sit next to me the entire first year in every single
I feel
class.
Sorry for Meredith. You tell I said so.
Yeah. And so I wore her down. But, 30 plus years together and 2 kids, we've done our thing.
And your wife, Meredith, has had an exciting career herself.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us for a moment about that career.
Well,
the public office career.
Yeah, well, she's been the board president a couple of times for Peralta Community College District. She successfully ran and held that office from 2012 through 2020. She's currently the board president for Youth Uprising, which is a nonprofit organization focused on the youth here in Oakland, and very excited about her opportunity there. And just a lot of things that are moving forward in Oakland with regards to our youth, and particularly the youth that have been unfortunately underserved for too much of the time in the last 30 or 40 plus
When you say underserved, what do you mean?
What I mean is that particularly black students, students of color as well, have not received their fair share of resources as a result of, I would argue, a lack of advocacy in some ways. That I see a reawakening in that regard, is that more and more people are coming to realize that we have to advocate more from our various legislators and institutions to make sure that the resources that have been promised are actually being received on the ground.
So you don't think the resources that have been promised have in fact been received by the children?
For different reasons that we could take much more time than we have to go into. Yeah, I think that there are lots of resources that the federal government and the state government have provided that, through the county and through the Board of Supervisors, that for different reasons haven't fully been materialized in the day-to-day lives.
So it's important that we understand that there are significant problems involved in education law, and we're going to continue to discuss those problems. But right now we got to go to break, so don't touch that remote. Matter of fact, just put it down. We will be right back. All about community. My name is Robert L. Harris, and my guest is attorney Guy Bryant.